Okay, we're gonna make rolled paper art today.
Is we need a magazine. This one's already been cut up for other projects and whatnot. Magazines I inherited. We need some glue stick, preferably the liquid glue, Elmer's glue. That just wouldn't work too well. It'd be too wet. Pencil, scissors, and paper. Okay, so what we're gonna start with is just getting our paper for our rolled pieces. And we just need any sheet and we just need to rip it out. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can just be, it can have a big chunk out of it here. It doesn't matter as long as we've got a corner. We've got to work with the corner. What we need to do is roll this into a skinny tube. Okay, we need to get this into a skinny tube. Sometimes, if you're careful enough, you're able to start by just pinching really softly into the corner, and you can start rolling it. Okay, so I'm going to show you that. I'm actually going to fold over the first corner so you can see that corner is folded over. That gives it a little more stability when you want to start rolling. Okay. I found that some students and even adults are better than others. And I want to try and keep it really small. I don't want this to be really wide. I want it to be a thin tube that we create. So there's this method. I'm starting to get it. It takes some time. The trick to this is, though, if you let it go, it'll unravel. Okay? So what we want to do is, now that I've got this started, we want to make sure this doesn't unravel all the way. So I'm going to take my glue stick, hopefully, and I'm going to put a little bead of glue down, so when I roll over that glue, it's going to stick to that, and then if I accidentally unravel it when I'm further along, it won't unravel past that point, and I've already got my solid piece of rolled paper good to go. Okay, so it takes some maneuvering. It's not a quick process. If we want them to get nice and thin, if we want them to get small enough or stay small enough, we need to really take our time. So now I'm so far along, I'm gonna hit it with another bead of glue. Okay. This is a nice one. You got to be careful doing this because it might pop up on you as well. And we don't want that to happen. So another bead of glue real quick. Can't lose your pressure. Your fingers have constantly got to be kind of pinching but not flattening that piece of paper. And then when we get to about a triangle left, right? Triangle is going to be very important to make sure because at some point we're going to be cutting these things. And we want to make sure they're secure. Try not to get it all over your desk or table unless you don't care, but my students, we need to care. That way the next person doesn't have an issue with their table. So I've got glue in that corner, all in that triangle, so now it's gonna all be stuck together. Okay, and then really make sure that corner's down. See that corner right there? We really want to make sure that's down all the way. Okay, so now we've got one tube. What we need, my students will need anywhere from 10 to 20. It all depends on their image. Okay, so I'm going to show you another method on rolling, just in case your fingers aren't working real well. If you need some support, a nice way to do this is using the pencil. So that's going to be the basis of what we use our pencil for the most. But you also have to be careful with this, especially with the pencils that have the metal ends. They'll get stuck inside. So what we have to do is we're going to roll up the end right on the edge of on the pencil. And if you do this too tight and you don't get it out soon enough, you won't be able to get your pencil out. And then the pencil gets stuck. And then we've got to cut it apart, and then it was a waste of time. So we have to be careful with that. So I'm not very far, but I am along. I'm going to put some glue down. I'm probably going to go a couple more times, and then I'm going to pull the pencil out. You've got to be able to make sure you've got enough of the pencil you can still pull. And if you do have the metal part on the end of the pencil, we want to pull from that direction, so that way we're not taking the metal through the paper and get it caught on the rolls. Okay, so now I went over some glue. So I know that if it unravels from here, it's not going to go very far, and I'm still going to have a shape. Okay. So I'm going to push this out this way, and now I can continue to roll. And this is about as thin as we want to go, is that pencil thickness. I hit it with another bead of glue. I'm going to go so far again. And it doesn't hurt to get it in a couple different spots, because you will be cutting these things, and if you cut in a spot that wasn't glued, it's going to unravel, and then you have to cut another one. And that happens. It's not a big deal. Another bead of glue. Okay. See, I don't have any glue right there on the very end. I need to get that with glue. Otherwise that little end's gonna stick up. Okay. Yep, got it down right there. Good to go. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is, if we have an image, right, how we're going to cut these rolls. And again, we're going to need multiple, but these rolls themselves, we could use it for a small piece, we could use it for a big piece, really tiny piece, whatever it may be. We can use these multiple times. It's not just one piece and then we're done. So we're going to make an image, and my students will have an image to choose from. And but for this case, I'm just going to draw something really fast and just give you a quick outline of how this will work when we're cutting. Okay, let's just say that's our image. So what we need to do is we're gonna have our scissors handy, and we've got to have our glue, and then we've got our rolled pieces, okay? The trick to this is we need to make sure that these pieces of rolled paper are always going up and down. We don't turn them, say like right here. I don't want to turn it just so I can make this spot right on that line, right? I always want these to be up and down. I'm going to zoom in and show you a little closer. Okay, so what I want to do on here is I'm going to start right on the end, okay? And I don't want to see the lines the best, best that I can. So this shape is already pretty close to what's happening here. So I'm not going to cut that just yet. And I want to keep it straight up and down. Make sure that this is parallel to this, the edge of your paper. Okay, so if this is parallel, then we know we're straight up and down. If it's like this, that's not parallel, right? That's perpendicular. So make sure that we are as parallel as we can be. And then wherever that line would be, so if we take this pencil line and I were to trace over, I'm going to trace right onto my paper, my rolled paper, and cut just like that on my rolled paper. Now, there's a chance that this unravels because there might not be any glue there. And I will find out. Yep, see? So this, I can't use. No big deal. I get rid of it, okay? I've got another end, another curved end. I'm gonna see if that lines up. And it does. So now I'm gonna draw this again, and hopefully I can cut this one and it stays. Now this is the other thing about gluing. I mean, you can glue more if you want to. I've never had too many problems with students having a lot of pieces unravel, but so this one started to unravel a little bit, but I can glue this one back down real fast and solve that problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna glue that back down all the way around. Now that guy's good to go. Okay, and then if you're ever unsure that it might pop open, then we can make sure you put it down if you can. And when we glue this to stick it down, we hope that it doesn't pop up. Okay, so now we've got our piece. We're gonna put our piece right on the edge like that. That's gonna be the start of our image. And again, make sure that it's straight, right? So now that I know this is my back side because my curve goes this way, or my angle, I know that my glue needs to be on this side. And then I'll show you a trick of pushing down without flattening these out as well. Okay, so I'm all glued up. And then if I don't want to flatten it, I can take my pencil and push down inside. Now, maybe you didn't use your pencil to roll this and it's rolled really tight and you can't get your pencil in there, and that's okay. You have to figure something else out, something else smaller, or you're just gonna have to push very carefully. Okay, so that's down. And then we go on to the next. So we want to look at that line where it needs to continue. This angle isn't going to work anymore, but I want to cut that off. So what I need to do is I'm going to follow from here over to where this line is, right? Just continuing that line. And then down here, I'm going to continue this line over to there. Okay, so I make those two cuts and then I'll be good. I got the top off and then get the bottom. And you may need to hold it because these things can fly off to the side if you cut them just right. Okay, line that up, make sure that's good. I'm a little off. I need to trim a little bit more on the bottom here. I didn't round it real good. There, that's better down here. That's on its way following this. And then I really should trim this up if I can get my scissors in there. I don't like the way that's pointed. And make sure you got it in the right space. And a little glue. Okay, and then make sure I'm down. Okay, and then you just continue that. So the biggest part is making sure that you're making the mark from end to end, and continuing to follow that shape and always stay upright. Okay, so if I were to come down here, the way I would manage this and the way I'd manage it on the other side is you're just going to put it on the edge again. So follow your lines, look at where your lines are, and continue that shape, right? So I'm basically just drawing as if I could see through the paper, and then I cut, and I'm only going to have this little tiny slice right here, and that little tiny slice is going to go on the edge. Hopefully it stays together. It's always the tricky part, is making sure that your piece doesn't come apart, but I'm right in the middle, so I should have no problem, theoretically. All right, so now I've got this little thing that I'm going to stick down. So right here on this corner, since I wasn't showing it to you before, right here on the corner, and it's turned. So if I turn it that way and I glue it just like that, I'm following my lines, right? Okay. And then I'd continue. And you've got to stay straight. That's the biggest thing, is keeping these things straight. That's what helps make these things look pretty cool. Okay. All right, so I'm going to show you an example of a finished one. All right, so this would be a finished product. If you notice, all of them are going straight up and down. Even down here, if you look, this one piece had a little chunk cut out right here because the mouth was open. So this is still just one piece, just cut in such a way. This was the only mistake on this one, because this piece of rolled paper right here has been turned. So that's the only mistake on this one, is that it got turned instead of staying straight. And this could have stayed straight. You don't have to stay exactly to the lines of whatever the image is. So, you know, you can deviate a little bit from what your drawing is or what your printout is. But this is, it's a pretty easy project. You just have to make sure that you're following, because if I were to draw an outline around this and lift this up, then I should have the shape of a dolphin. Or if I were just to pull all these up, I should be able to see this same exact shape. Okay, so otherwise this is pretty successful. This will work. Again, you can do this with any shape. You kind of want it to be filled, like a full shape. You don't want it to be too touch and go, where it's like spotty, like there's be a chunk out of this and a chunk out down here, or whatever it may be. Try to make it like a silhouette image of the whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so otherwise, thanks for watching.